everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 71805, Jay's Mech Battle Pack from the January 2024 Ninjago Dragons Rising wave. This set contains 78 pieces, 4 minifigures, and will retail for $9.99 in the US. This was gifted to me early for review by the LEGO group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. I'm doing a bunch of early 2024 LEGO reviews right now, including the rest of the Ninjago sets, but also LEGO Sonic, LEGO Dreams, LEGO Monkey Kid, and more. So if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm getting super close to 100,000 subscribers, which would be an amazing milestone to reach. Also, make sure to let me know in the comments which 2024 Ninjago set you want to see an early review of next. Thank you all very much for your support, and now let's get into the review. So this set's called a Battle Pack, which is something we've not really seen from Ninjago before. We've had like blister packs that have been called Battle Packs, but Battle Pack's typically a term used in like LEGO Star Wars, and it's meant to be a set that you can buy multiples of to like build up an army. How well does this set actually fit the Battle Pack definition? I don't know. You do get 4 minifigures for only $10, which is an amazing deal, and 2 of those minifigures are very army buildable, but the other 2 aren't really. They're very good minifigures, but they're not ones you really need multiples of. Same thing with the build too. This is not really meant to be like massable. It is just a mech for Jay. I suppose you could get multiples of this and swap out the blue parts for other colors if you want to make mechs for other ninja, but just on its surface, this probably isn't the kind of thing you'd want to army build. That being said, if we don't look at this as a battle pack and just look at it as a set, how is the actual build? Well, I'm gonna be honest, I kinda like it. I of course cover a lot of mechs on this channel, and this is nowhere near the best, right? But when I saw official images, I thought it was really bad. But having it in hand, that's not the case at all. It's just solid. I actually quite like it. There's a good range of motion in such a tiny set. You can see the legs move individually, and they have hinges on the feet. And because it is so small, it's quite easy to pose because it's so light. It's not like gonna fall over or anything. There is waist articulation here too, just like the big mechs of the wave. And you can see one arm has a stud shooter on it, which of course you push down on, studs can shoot out. And the other arm holds this big weapon with the blade on the end. And that's just in these clips, so you can remove that if you want, put something else in there. Very similar design to like the hands on the Evo mechs. I like the use of these golden pieces for shoulder armor too. I think the cockpit uses like the Marvel mech or Next Knight's mech system, where it's a slightly smaller cockpit than like the Evo mechs use, and it's like this clamshell design. It's 2 parts. You have the seating area and the front part, and this folds up to allow a minifigure's head to stick out the top. And in the past, I have actually criticized these parts. For example, the Marvel mechs, I reviewed them last year, and I wasn't the biggest fan of them. Like, I actually really didn't like them that much. But what I think the problem is this cockpit feels very small on big mechs like that. I say big mechs, they're not that big, they're $15, they are still small mechs. But this is like half the size of those mechs. And I think with limbs this size, this piece actually works really well. So I actually like it a lot more here. Here's how it looks to have Jay actually standing in the mech. And there's 2 clips out the back to hold swords, which are actually meant to be accessories for Jay. So if you want to take him out of the mech and let him fight, you can take those off the back of the mech and use them as weapons. Overall, this build's much smaller than the Ninjago mechs that we typically get, and I'm sort of in 2 minds about this. On face value, it seems a little silly that this is the same price as the Evo mechs from last year and the year before, because those were $10 and like twice this size and really, really good. That being said, those sets came with 2 minifigures, this one comes with 4, and none of the minifigures in those sets were exclusive. This set, at least as of right now, has 2 exclusive minifigures. So if you view this set as being more about the minifigures than the build, which I think it definitely is, I think a build like this is perfectly fine. I would have liked to get a bigger mech for Jay like some of the other ninja get, but for a $10 set I can't complain that much. For a mech of this size, I genuinely think it's quite good. Nowhere near like one of my favorites of all time, but it's solid for what it wants to be. I'm fairly happy with it. So now we come to what's perhaps the most interesting part about this set, and that's the minifigures. Here are the first 2 in the set, the 2 like good guy minifigures. We have Mech Pilot Suit Jay as well as Master Lloyd. As of right now, these figures are both new and exclusive to this set. However, I don't know if it's going to stay that way in the future. There is a chance they're going to come out in future waves. But to start out, I have to say, getting both of these in a $10 set is pretty amazing. Starting with Jay's Mech Pilot Suit, these are of course the new ninja suits for this wave. And these are interesting because they're actually consistent across all of the ninja, which is something we haven't seen in quite a long time. But if we compare this to like Lloyd's Mech Pilot Suit, of course this does not come in this set, I'm just comparing it from another set, you can see it's almost exactly the same design between the 2 of them. The only differences are of course the colors as well as the layout of the belt, as well as which ninja symbols in the corner, but the basic layout of everything else is exactly identical. That I actually think is really neat, and it's cool to go back to that after so long. And I have to say, the colors on Jay work pretty well in my opinion. Blue and gold's a really nice color combination that we actually don't see him use all too often. I especially love the gold hands here. All the figures this wave have gold hands, but I think especially with the blue, those colors just work really well. His belt, I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of. I do like bright yellow on Jay, I think that's a great color, but it's just not printed the best here. The dark blue sort of bleeds through, so it leaves it feeling a little bit discolored, and I don't know, it doesn't really pop for me. That being said, that's a small part of this figure, and I think the rest looks amazing. And I love how detailed just the mech suits in general are, right? They have the toe printing, they have like the little knee pads, and the suits themselves feel so like bulky and armored. Definitely fits the idea of being a mech pilot. These new hood pieces are really amazing too. If you want to see my in-depth thoughts of just the hood pieces overall, go check out my Eagle the Master Dragon review. I go in depth about like just the new part there. But in terms of the color scheme on this one, blue and dark blue I think is good. It fits Jay. I don't really think there's a better option there. And if we take his mask piece off, you can see he still uses the same Dragons Rising face print. So the one side has like the digital eyes with the lightning effects and the slight smirk, and the alternate side has this more angry expression. By the way, there's a look at the back torso print, and Jay's name is actually written in Ninjago right there. And again, this continues the design with like the gold trim on everything. Looks really, really nice. Now, Jay does not come with his armor piece in this set, however, in some of the other sets of Ninja do come with armor pieces. So in case you're curious, I wanted to show you how that looks with this suit. I actually think this looks pretty good. On some of the suits, I don't love these armor pieces. I feel like the gold just doesn't match with their colors. But no, on Jay, I think this fits really well and actually ties the suit together really nicely. But yeah, I want to make it very clear that does not come in this set. I'm just showing you guys what it looks like if you put it on. Good minifigure all around. I'm happy to get the new version of Jay in a cheap set. And then here is a very, very interesting minifigure. This is Master Lloyd. This is, of course, Lloyd in his new, like, sensei robes, which is something that fans have kind of wanted for years, like, ever since Season 5. But, of course, Dragons Rising is the perfect time because now he is Aaron and Sora's master. And this is a really interesting design. At first, I wasn't sure what I thought about it, but having it in hand, I think I actually do quite like it. For one, I like the use of the bright green on the belt. That really pops, especially on top of the white. And something I was surprised to see, this headband piece is actually new. Now, it is the same one from the island, but this is actually a new recolor because the bandana is now bright green instead of normal green. That's a really nice recolor to get, and it is just a subtle change. In fact, I couldn't even tell from the box art. But yeah, that is different now. It's the color of his Dragons Rising robes, and I definitely feel like that helps the suit feel extra premium. He's got like this sort of like dragon scale trim on his robes, which looks really good. And I like the tan robes underneath too. It kind of reminds me of Sensei Wu. I will say this figure feels very bright to me, which I guess is kind of the point. It's white robes, it's bright green, but I feel like it probably could have used some darker colors to break it up a little bit. That being said, I do still think this is really good. And turning him around, you can see he still has the Dragons Rising logo on the back, which is what all the original Ninja had on the backs of their suits in the last wave. His face print is just his movie face print, which I have to admit is pretty disappointing. I feel like this just doesn't work the best for this kind of suit, because you have two options. It's either like this angry grimace, or this happy face, which I've always thought this is kind of bad. I much prefer his newer Dragons Rising head, this one right here, but of course that one has the digital eyes on the other side, so that doesn't make as much sense. That being said, Lloyd has had many expressions across many different sets, so you could just swap that out if you want. I just kind of wish he had gotten a more stoic expression here. All that being said, he's an exclusive minifigure in a $10 set. I can't complain too much. The fact that we got even the recolored headband is really nice. I'm very happy to get both of these here. Now, are they the best battle pack figures? No, probably not. I don't know why you'd want to army build these guys, but they are both good figures individually. And then here are the other two minifigures in the set, the two villain figures. We have a Wolf Mask Claw Warrior and a Wolf Mask Guard. These are of course just the generic villains for this wave, and they both share the same exact torso prints, leg prints, as well as face prints, though of course they differ in their armor, their weapons, and their head attachments. For generic villains though, I do like the design of their torso and legs. You can see it's got some Ninjago written on it that just says the word wolf, and it seems like they have some blades coming out of their pockets to be little weapons. I think purple and dark blue though was just a great villain color scheme, and I especially like the purple hands. I feel like they really add a lot, and I think it's perfectly fine that these parts are shared between the two of these guys. There's a different torso for Lord Raz and a different torso for the generals, so for just the generic versions of these villains, I think they're perfectly fine. Now the actual wolf mask piece is really cool. This is an amazing sculpt and something I've not really seen before from LEGO. You can see it's actually meant to be a mask. It ties around the back. There's this blue hood here. But yeah, we've got this wolf face at the front, and I love those dual molded teeth in there, and those really pop. But my favorite part about this is actually how the eyes are inset. They're not like popping out of the mask, they're actually back pretty far. And that's something that we've sort of seen LEGO do before. For example, like the old Batman masks. They would just have holes in the mask and then a white headband underneath, and that's how you would see the white eyes from the outside. That though is actually not what they do here. Instead, all that blue plastic is actually on the mask piece, so we are able to have a full face print underneath. I believe that is what the modern Batman mask designs do as well. I haven't actually gotten a LEGO Batman set in a while, but it's cool to see that translated over to Ninjago, and this feels very high quality for just a generic villain. There's a look at the alternate face too. Again, it's shared between the two of them, and then they both have this symbol on the back, which is just the mark for these villains. It's sort of like a wolf face, but also like an Ouroboros and also like a moon. We know these guys are both moon themed and wolf themed, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more about them in the show. And then yeah, of course the Legacy Skulk and Armor piece in dark blue, which is not a new part, but definitely a very uncommon one, so it's cool to see that coming in more sets. And then the arch is exactly the same though, with a hood piece instead of the mask. Obviously the hood isn't as cool, but it is nice to have some variation. And I do think both versions of the faces for these guys are really cool, because the one side is just sort of generic. They've just got like an angry expression, though they do have like the silver crown and these teeth. But in this version, the teeth and the eyes have become powered up. They're like the striking blue now, and that really pops. Definitely makes her a very intimidating looking villain. So yeah, I like both of these variants. Of course, I prefer this one, but I'm happy to get them both here. And these are actually army buildable villains, so if you want to get a lot of these guys, this is a good set to get multiples of, because you get one of each variant for only $10. And so, overall, what are my thoughts on this set? Honestly, if you're a Ninjago fan, you should pick this set up. I don't see any reason not to. The build is good, don't get me wrong. It's like nothing exceptional, but it's a lot better than I expected it to be. It's a solid mech for this scale. But of course, the main focus of the set is the minifigures, and all 4 are fantastic. So even if you're like only going to get one set for this wave, right? You don't have a ton of money, but you want to get something. I think this is a really good one to get. It's only $10, so it's not like going to break the bank. You get 2 of the villains for this wave, the Master Lloyd minifigure, which is of course very exciting, and just a normal ninja suit for Jay. If you're someone who only really cares about builds and don't care about minifigures like at all, I guess this could be a set you pass up on. But that being said, the build isn't even bad. It's just kinda small for the price, and that is more than made up for in the minifigures. So yeah, honestly, I highly recommend this one. Not sure how army buildable it actually is. It gets you a lot of Wolf Warriors, but then you'd end up with a lot of Master Lloyds and Jays as well. But at the very least, it's a great set to get at least one of. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And let me know in the comments which 2024 Ninjago set you want to see an early review on next. But as for this one, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!